Hello, my friends. Welcome to this week's Ministry Moment. It's good to be back with you again this week. Question for you. Have you ever started something new, a project, renovation, joined a new club, a new relationship, anything new, and then partway through kind of wished you'd thought it out a bit first before you joined, or thought, I wish I'd known this before I started whatever this is? I have a tendency to jump into projects, especially renovation projects, and then sometimes get myself into a bit of a mess that is harder to get out of than I would have anticipated. I think we all know that kind of feeling. Jesus even talked about that in Luke's Gospel, chapter 14, when he was talking about joining him and being his follower, joining the Christian life. He said, if you were building a tower, wouldn't you first sit down and count the cost and make sure that you could afford to finish the tower before you started, and then had a half-built tower which everyone would see and would mock you, going, there's the person who started something they didn't know how to finish. I think often we don't think about that, about counting that cost with a Christian life, whether we've been in it for a while or whether this is something new. And yet, God tells us that the Christian life is a pretty big commitment, and it is good for us to look at what it all means first before we just jump right in. So over the next couple of weeks, I thought I would talk a little bit about some of those things that maybe people don't always think about before they start following Christ. They're not bad things. They're just things that help us to understand really what it is that we're getting into, to count those costs before we see. I believe, of course, that the benefit far outweighs any cost there is whatsoever. But it's best not to be surprised, because then these things can be moments that help us grow instead of things that discourage us. So, for today, just think about counting the cost, taking a look at something before we actually begin. And next week, we'll see what maybe some of those costs actually are. Take care, my friends. God bless. And I'll see you again next week.